Everyone makes mistakes. You're going to make mistakes as a leader. Your employees are going to make mistakes. What separates failing forward from just failing is that you're learning from the mistakes. And that's what you want to do, is be able to move forward. And how you deal with those failures and how you learn from them, it's going to set the culture for your firm. So you have to choose whether you're going to deal with that failure in a way that is going to change your behavior and teach you in the future, or if you're just going to let it drag you down and make you feel like a horrible person. And if you decide to hide it or sweep it under the rug, that is going to speak loud and clear to your employees about how failing in this environment is not okay. So for years, John Maxwell, he's one of the top leadership coaches in the country. He says sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. But here's the that a lot of leaders overlook when it comes to that. Learning doesn't happen by itself. You've got to actually have that reflection and the thinking about how it's going to change your actions. And so you need to intentionally change that in your firm. And it starts with yourself. So what's going to happen is your employees are going to be looking to you. And when you make a mistake, what do? Do you admit the mistake, or do you try to hide it or downplay it or ignore it? The best thing you can do is say, oh my goodness, I made this mistake. I really learned this from that mistake, and I am going to do this in the future. And really, I find if you keep it more lighthearted when a mistake like that happens, then your employees are going to react a lot better. Because when they see you treat yourself like that, they're going to understand that that's your attitude towards failure, and they're going to be a lot more likely to go to you, admit that there was a mistake, and do the exact same thing. They're going to model that behavior, and that creates the culture. And it's interesting how people will start taking responsibility for it when they see it's safe to do so. Like, oh dear, that was my thing. And someone else on the team will be like, oh no, it wasn't just your fault. It was my fault too. Like, if it's a safe place, you'll see all of these people start to take responsibility and figure out what they can change to become better, because people want to get better. As leaders, we have a tendency to believe that if we admit that we had made a mistake, that we're going to lose our authority. But that's actually exactly the opposite. You lose your authority when people stop trusting you. And if you admit when you make mistakes and you handle it properly, they will actually trust you more. And so it will give you more of what they call the law of the buy-in. If you listen to John Maxwell, the law of the buy-in, they'll buy in more to you when they see that you're humble and that you are also kind to them when they're having failures of their own. So what do you think in this case that as leaders that did to our culture? Well, one, we learned we can't give honest feedback. And then the other thing is that it was not a safe place in general. Obviously, he was willing to get very mad at us and not really take feedback. So it creates a horrible culture. So people are going to keep themselves safe if they see poor behavior. And it's not a problem with the people, it's a leadership problem. Loss of trust is going to make you lose your power. So don't go there. Make sure you're admitting mistakes, taking responsibility, and changing the system that you're in.